So when you're like realizing one's potential, let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
What do I think? So depending on how you feel like yourself, your confidence, what you believe your potential is, it's gonna vary from person to person. Like personally with me, I think I have a very high potential. I think I can pretty much accomplish anything I set my mind to. If I'm not a millionaire or I'm older, I'm super jacked,
Yeah.
have a great family, have a great status, I feel like my potential is not gonna be realized.
Yeah.
But there'd be other people that just they think, oh, I can't do all that. I'm just gonna get out of college and all I can do is just work a
9-to-5 wagey job.
9-to-5 wagey job and do that my entire life. But
y'all get out of the rat race.
But it just depends on how confident and stuff how you feel that your potential is.
And I guess I wonder how that comes to people, because I know that you and I are extremely. We expect really high expectations of ourselves, and in that, having that high expectation, we strive for greatness, right?
Yeah.
And in greatness meaning like becoming really successful monetarily,
Yeah.
and like physically, like jacked,
Yep.
shredded, whatever.
Yeah.
And basically all realms of human endeavor. But a lot of people, but like you said, a lot of people find success, or they're like see them as being successful as just getting a good job, or like whatever, like kind of lower par success, which, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, things you didn't say things are lower. Like, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be defined as lower par. What I think you're trying to say is like less, like extreme, like the less extreme things.
Yeah.
They can consider them being a good individual as success.
Yeah, or just enjoying the passage of time.
Yeah, it kind of just depends on how you define success.
Yeah.
And like honestly, I think our threshold of where we consider ourselves being successful can be a lot further than, like you said, other people.
Yeah. Where do you think that came from?
I think it could be a mix of a bunch of things. Definitely, I would say our like family definitely have pretty like good father figures. I'd say that's a good example. We live in an area where we see a lot of money, so we know it's possible. And a big thing I would say is just like the content we consume as well.
I guess, yeah.
I would say, which is kind of weird to think about, because we always talk about not wanting to consume content. It's not good for you. Don't fucking go on social media and stuff.
But a lot of people consume the same content, but still have those same limiting beliefs in themselves that they can't do what the other people have done already.
Yeah.
But I guess we can talk about that, how like break those limiting beliefs, I guess, so that, because everyone at the end of the day is human, and anyone can do anything they put their mind to. Like, if not you, then who? But a lot of people think of themselves as lesser, which makes them not reach that threshold of, for lack of a better word, greatness. So we could probably touch on that too.
But like, that's actually a really good point you have, because what makes us gravitate towards that content compared to other people?
Exactly, because we started out somewhere, right? Like it's not like we already consumed the content before we were fucking hopped out of the womb, right? Like,
were we born with just like being able like
the mindset,
like does that content like bind to something in our fucking brain, or is it something that we were conditioned to throughout our childhood, like to where we like that, lack of a better term, like red pill content, like you can do whatever you put your mind to, like fulfill your American dream, input equals output, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And to be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah, we could probably look that up, or like talk about that in another podcast. But that's something interesting to talk about.
I don't even know what we even look up there, though. Right?
I mean, there's probably someone out there, like some neuroscientist like Andrew Huberman, that's like talking about that, and like probably has a good definition on why that is that way. I mean, what I think it derives down to is just the circumstances that you grew up with. Like, if you had a poor family, and your brain was super elastic, and your mom said, all you're good for, or like, say you had a drunk dad or whatever, and he was like saying that you weren't going to be good enough, and all you're good for is just working at McDonald's your entire life, that's probably going to stay with you for the rest of your life, and you're always going to think down on yourself in that. So that it's probably just a combination of the circumstances that you grew up with, and that's probably why we do see more affluent towns or more affluent families having a higher likelihood of successful children.
But you could also look at this in the other way though. Like when you see people that come from like a difficult background, they're told all these terrible things like, "Oh, you can't do shit. Like you never accomplish anything." It can sometimes be the opposite to where
they have that gives them the activation energy to become better. Yeah.
And I think definitely them taking action. Maybe it could be boiled down to just an innate higher dopamine baseline. Dopamine is what's gonna drive you to
totally. Actually, that makes total sense. Speaking about like dopamine baseline and stuff like that,
maybe just delve into what like kind of dopamine does in the most like basic shit ever.
So dopamine is just like the motivational chemical in your brain. It gives us a reason why to do something. Let's say like if I found reward from taking a cold shower, for example, I'm gonna want to do that again, and I'm gonna get off my ass to be able to move. Like dopamine is a thing that is not just getting it from the destination, but you also get dopamine from the journey.
Yes.
And that's like why a lot of successful people it takes them 10 years, but they're still like motivated throughout. Is because they have that dopamine get like of knowing that like or that dopamine hit throughout the way of getting them to where they know they need to go.
Yeah.
So but it's just basically like your motivational chemical keeping you motivated.
Yeah, it's kind of like if we were a big like train engine, and dopamine's like the coals you keep shoveling in to make the train keep moving.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And we can go down to like even let's say like success in males in general. So when you have more testosterone, your hormones are more optimized, and your testosterone helps you produce more dopamine.
Yeah.
And so this is why you see, or you can see, people are typically better at sports. They get put in the quarterback position or something like that.
Or more just successful, like or monetarily successful that drive for more.
Just successful in general. The people that have reached just a higher level, they've realized their potential further, or they even have a higher like potential cap.
Yeah.
And maybe it could be since they were born with those innate abilities, innate higher testosterone levels, more athletic ability, they were put in a position to succeed, maybe had more positive reinforcement to continue moving forward and just pursue and get like more prestigious things done. Or you can just say that scientifically they always have a higher likelihood to do so, which is, I think it's kind of cool. Like,
no, it is pretty cool.
We're talking about kind of what potential realization is, and whenever I kind of think about that, I think of just making yourself as best as you can. Like you said in all realms of human endeavor, which is a corny quote from
Andrew Tate.
Also my senior quote.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. My senior quote was, you don't gain confidence from shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having an undeniable stack of proof you are who you say you are. Outwork yourself out.
How do you have an undeniable proof of saying you say you are? By realizing your potential. Your potential is just realizing your full identity and your dream self.
Yeah.
But this is what I always think of. It's if you see that, wait.
We can cut to it. Just put it up good.
Let focus for a second. It is a skill tree, or like almost like a skill graph from a video game. You have efficiency, speed, reliability, comfort.
It's over here. Fuck.
It's not. We just look at it. All right. So what is on a skill chart is there's 5 different little corners. There's power, endurance, support, control. It can be a bunch of things, but it doesn't matter. Think about yourself. You have all these different stats. Like you're a video game character.
That's how I find myself kind of improving better, or just like staying on the right track, is by thinking of myself as a video game avatar, where I have all of these different stats, and I have to keep upgrading these different stats to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And just keep going. And that's how you can also like put that in a different perspective, so that you can stay consistent in whatever you're trying to succeed in. Is think of it as a video game, because then you will derive dopamine from those little rewards of you noticing that you're leveling up per se, and that's actually a really good way of keeping consistent with whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever goal you're trying to achieve.
And you can see, I'm sure this real quick, it's a lot stronger in some of the other areas. And I think naturally, and maybe just depending on where you've allocated your time earlier in your life, you can have things in your stats where you're already like a higher level in.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like I've already allocated a lot of time towards fitness, so that's still a big focus of my life. Obviously, I still really want to focus on fitness, but I need to understand I can't make my entire life about going to the gym and lifting weights and optimizing everything for that. Because in order for me, I feel, to reach my next levels in my video game character, I need to level up my other stats. Have that be like money, have that be like people skills.
The way that I think about it, especially in business, if you notice that there's a bunch of different micro skills in business. The way I think about it is like a bridge. To build a bridge, you have to have all of these different bricks, and the bridge is not going to get finished until you build that last brick. So you need, and think of each brick as a different skill. So you need to build all of those different skills, and if you don't have all of those skills, then you're not going to get to the finish line or get to the end of the bridge. You have to keep building all of those skills and build those individual skills to get to that eventual $100 million business or whatever that goal in entrepreneurship is. And so
your perfect bridge is your dream self, your dream potential realized self.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of those bricks you build can just be another thing you add to maybe eventually realize that, eventually make your potential come true.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I like what we say about business because we have those macro skills, money, like people competence, fitness, like I don't really talk about it right now. But you can even go deeper. Then you go into business, you have even more skills you can work on.
Yeah.
Like
working a balance sheet,
finance, sales,
like building a team,
yeah.
building a sale. Even with building teams, you have to build like HR teams, sales teams, whatever, product teams, any type of teams, and that's just in one tiny little block.
And then you can go deeper, just your competence and all of those things, and you can just keep going deeper and deeper. You can always find something you can work on.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's also a great motivator because what a lot of people find themselves in, find depression in, is by not having a direction and being super uncertain in their life. And just knowing that you have something to go for and something to always strive for is a great motivator to get out of bed, to be able to say, all right, let me do this for today. I know what I'm going to do today, so I'm happy that I know what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to conquer what I'm going to do today, right? So that's also, thinking about it like that is a great motivator for getting out of bed.
We kind of came to the idea of depression a lot when talking about like self-improvement, making sure you're the best version of yourself. And I could say depression could probably be boiled down to just not being proactive. So
I totally agree with that.
So let me just get into what being proactive means. I mean, I'm always breaking the definition right now. It's going to say a lot better than I'm going to say it. I'm probably butchering it. Proactive definition. So pretty much, I'll read the definition and I'll read my interpretation. Creating or controlling a situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it has happened. Or pretty much making something happen rather than waiting for something to happen to you. If you're depressed, you're sad. You don't feel good, you're unmotivated, you're lethargic, you're lying down in your bed, you're like, I just want to feel happy again. I'm all depressed, I have nothing to do.
I.e., not proactive.
Not proactive. What you need to do is you need to notice, I am depressed.
And take control of that.
And take control and be proactive. And make yourself not depressed by doing stuff, by having something to build towards every day, by realizing your potential, which is the topic of this episode.
Like depression, like the reason why we get into depression is because that's our body telling us that we're in a state of us not being where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you think about it like that, and you notice that you're getting depressed or sad or whatever that feeling is, that you can have this self-awareness now to be able to say, like, all right, my body's telling me I don't want to be in this spot, so I have to be proactive and do something about it instead of perpetually staying in this depressive state and then eventually, I don't know, something that I want to say on YouTube.
I've never.
But that is literally like your body telling you to fucking move.
I've never thought about that, what you said, but that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because I saw, like, you can have, a cute, almost like, a cute little, like, areas of depression during your life.
Mhm.
And with your definition that you just said, make it like your body almost as a clock.
Yeah, it's giving you the activation energy to be able to fucking move forward. Like, people need to, like, in that okay state, sometimes you need to step back or, like, maybe move even down further in the depression state so that you get that activation energy to be able to push forward and move past that. Like, if you think about it as a stock chart, I remember you making this example in the past. Like, some, like, stocks, they dip down, like a stock chart looks like this.
Keep talking. I'll drop the diagram.
Yeah. Okay. Eddie's gonna draw a diagram, but a stock chart looks like a bunch of bumps, and what we see a lot is that it goes down before it can go even higher.
You look at that right there. Let's just say you're at consolidation. You haven't made that much positive change in your life or any change at all. What happens? You break below the lows in the range. You reach a level where you're uncomfortable. You dislike it. You feel like shit. You're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? But it's just like what happens on a stock chart or a commodity chart. You reach a new low, but they're grabbing liquidity. So eventually they can put in more buy orders, and it will skyrocket. So you reach that low point, i.e., feeling fucking terrible. You're proactive about the situation, make the necessary change in order to grow, and then you eventually make it all-time high where you are feeling way better, feeling way more motivated. Maybe you've made some more money, maybe your physique got better, your relationships grew, and overall, that low was just a point in your life that was necessary to hit in order for you to reach a new high.
Yeah. And that's just an analogy. We're traders, or we were traders. Yeah. And so we're just using that as an analogy that we see, which is a perfect analogy of, like, you getting the activation. Sometimes you just actually need to put yourself in a more uncomfortable situation to have enough activation energy to be able to push above, to be able to push to a higher high. Push yourself to a higher high.
I would say I necessarily put myself in a more uncomfortable position, but I would say my threshold and my mindfulness to where when I notice I'm in that position, like right now I would say I'm in on the macro scale, I'm probably in a good position, but I would say my threshold to where I can notice that is probably a lot more sensitive than others. Because if I notice I've been on my phone a lot more, which kind of gives you brain fog, makes you feel terrible. I notice I haven't been, as of late, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I feel like I haven't been posting as much on all my socials on road routes. I'm still posting relatively consistently, but not to the point to where I was, not to where I was in that consolidation. And me noticing that, I get to that spot of feeling kind of like shit. It doesn't make me feel good. Like your phone and being on it and doing nothing is like that acute, small, like depressive state. So right now I'm trying to be proactive and make changes to where I can have this bullish reverse out of this, and hopefully you create even more content, higher quality content, and get away from this space.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time I'm in a bad position. When I used to lose money, I noticed I wasn't hitting the gym as hard. I noticed I was kind of being a bum. I would really get my journal and get so fucking mad at myself. It was very fucking bullish reversal, to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can make a change right now, and I would fucking write in big bold letters. And maybe it'll take a few days, maybe it'll take a week, maybe it'll take a month.
Mm-hmm. But
as long as I'm being proactive and trying to fucking climb myself out of that hole, I know I'll be fine, and I know I'll be able to eventually become better than where I was.
Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people, that was great, but keep in mind that a lot of people make, monetarily, if you're trying to be successful monetarily, I just want to give a big disclaimer out that I've noticed that when you're trying to make that bullish reversal or whatever, a lot of people try and make fast money and quick money. But the only way to go fast is to go slow, right? Because it compounds. Because that delayed gratification is what makes the slow part compound.
Yeah.
And so if you try and go fast immediately off the start, like if you just getting to a job or whatever,
Mhm.
that chart is linear and it's not compounding. It's just going up slow over time. It feels fast in the moment, but you have to notice that um, if you want to be like extremely monetarily successful, you have to start from ground zero and learn all of those skills and build that skill set of whatever and build that bridge and it seems slow until you build that last brick
Yeah.
where then it starts to exponentiate and you can become like pretty successful.
It's very fun to kind of like think of ourselves as assets.
Yeah.
Because if you're worth $1 and you go up 5%, and you go up 50%, you're gonna be worth what? $1.50.
Yeah.
But you're worth. But I'm not saying that's actually your net worth. I'm just saying like you're a asset that's worth that much.
Yeah.
But let's say you build yourself up to be worth $100, and then you go up 50%. Now you're worth $150.
Yeah.
So every single time you make that increase, you're like an asset that's compounding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool frame to think about. That's another way that you can probably give yourself some more internal motivation is by thinking of yourself as an asset and you're just in that compounding stage or that low stage right now, but eventually you will compound because that's like kind of like a game in itself of thinking that.
It's like
that video game Avatar example that we gave.
Yeah, and if you people invest in penny stocks, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a big upside.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of in a terrible spot and you're not worth a lot of money,
there's only like
one way to go.
It's only one way to go, which is up, and you can go up a lot more than from $1 to $100 and $100 to $200.
Yeah. And I bet you'll probably see a more like significant jump from like the low level to like let's say like novice. You'll notice it a lot more, but the actual speed to which you're growing won't be as much as if you're already worth a lot, and then you make a really significant pop.
Like for example, in the gym, your first rep to your or like if you just start benching, and you do your first rep, you're gonna learn so much more from your first rep to your 10th rep than you're gonna learn from your 10,000th rep to your 20,000th rep. Right.
It can also be said how I don't know who said this, but I think Alex Ramosi, he said his first 100,000 felt like way more money compared to like his first mil.
Yeah, I think it was like his first 100,000. He felt so much more wealthy than he did when he went from $1 million to 10 million or $1 million to 100 million because he like knew internally that he was starting the exponentiate route.
Yeah, it's kind of like your threshold, so almost different.
Yeah.
So, do you want to kind of get into another segment, Emma?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about something that people don't really like to talk about because you're kind of holding a mirror to yourself, but like recreational drugs, like alcohol and like marijuana, weed. So I would say I have a relatively not controversial stance on. It's not that it's more controversial on weed, but on alcohol. I
wouldn't say it's relatively controversial, but you're thinking of it in a better way.
Yes.
Than most people because of how normalized the so-and-so drug actually is.
So one of my big goals is to become the best possible version of myself. And when I look at alcohol,
it's only poison.
All I see is drawbacks. Not only does it make my performance physically worse, I'll wake up in the morning not feeling good, but it also will slow down muscle protein synthesis, which is pretty much the act of protein building your muscles. It will ruin your sleep, so once again losing more physical recovery. But not only that, alcohol it does promote something called neurodegeneration, which I've touched on a few times in some of the short form content I've made. But pretty much what that means is if you drink alcohol relatively regularly, let's say you have like 8 drinks a week, which doesn't sound that much, you'll still see it. You might not have noticed it, but there will be your brain will get worse. You'll become dumber because the alcohol is just slowly breaking down your brain over time.
Well, yeah, no, but if you think about it, it's like also it kills off some of your brain cells every single time you take alcohol. Same with weed. It's a neurodegenerative product, and so every single time you drink alcohol, you keep losing those brain cells, and so
It's
and then
essentially
intern getting dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Same with weed.
which is the exact opposite of realize your potential. You're actually doing the opposite. You're making you're lowering the ceiling of your potential by making your mental capacity lower. And the same thing with weed. So I don't really know the effects of weed past the developmental ages. I could say it could probably lower your ambition, make it so you're kind of
More comfortable.
comfortable, kind
Don't
of
have the
sit down,
activation energy to be able
being
to
like
keep being proactive.
being all like chill and shit. Like,
Type of shit.
oh, that should make me mad. That should make me mad creative. Bro.
Oh my
That
goodness.
should make me
I'm
mad.
saying,
That should make me mad creative. Like, I'll be talking about hella stuff type shit. But
I'll be making hella business ideas and shit.
but definitely developmental ages, weed is not something you should do
No, not at all.
because it literally makes your brain produce more gray matter, which is literally just like your brain, but like not doing fucking anything.
Yeah.
It just once again just makes you more dumb and more slow. And this is why you see when people smoke a lot of weed in like their teenage and stuff like that, they end up like kind of being like what we were like. There's like, oh what? Oh yeah, touch it, bro.
We're not trying to rank on anyone, by the way. This is just our own experiences and our own thoughts. Like we're not pointing anyone out. Like if you do you, but like we're just saying our own experiences.
Yeah, but I just don't understand because if you want to be successful, because everyone innately wants to be successful.
Yeah, that's kind of what the entire realm of society is just like the social hierarchy.
Social hierarchy to be successful. And if you take a step back, and rather than looking at those really, really normalized things, you're like, this isn't going to help me at all. It's going to make me worse. If you don't do those things, you're already going to be ahead of all the other people that do that. And in relation to other people, you may have a higher potential. You're going to be able to just see more of your goals coming to fruition. And I literally cannot wrap my mind around why people do it. Maybe I'm just wired differently. Which,
Well, I mean, I think why people do it is because of how normalized it is, and then also don't know the exact side effects of what it has to offer.
yeah.
And just see the upside of it, feeling good in the meantime, but they're not thinking about the delayed gratification aspect of it, where in the future they're going to be dumber in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think a lot of kids our age, especially, smoke weed or drink alcohol, because it makes them feel good in the short term,
Mhm.
but not in the long term. Because most average people, don't think about the delayed gratification part of it.
Like I've had my, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when I was younger, I tried alcohol. I used to go out and like have a few drinks on the weekend and stuff like that. I used to probably smoke weed like once or twice a month, and I had those experiences, and I made the proactive decision that this isn't something that's gonna get me to where I want to be. It's sure I don't necessarily like how it makes you feel. Sure, like might make you be more talkative. Let me talk to people better. Maybe I can be more chill. Maybe I can get to bed better because weed actually does help you get to sleep. And I would say that's probably one of the number one benefits of weed. It can help you get to sleep better. But I had that experience and I was able to formulate my own opinion. And I think all this conformity and it being really normalized is due to the lack of people being able to formulate their own opinions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And they kind of just dismiss when someone says, oh, alcohol is bad, to them kind of being just kind of being like,
An outsider.
not an outsider, it's kind of like a dork.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's drinking alcohol, oh, he's probably just like, thinks he's better than all of us. But no, I understand what it does, and that's not in line with what I want to do. If you want to really go out and have a great time every single weekend, and that's, I guess, how you find fulfillment.
I mean, if it's aligned with your goals, you do you.
That's fine, but I personally don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I guess what you define your goals are, which dials down to your own independent thinking. And I think a lot of people have to actually sit down with themselves and independently think what their actual goals are in life. And if doing, because then that gives you clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to give a litmus test of like, does this help me? Does this not help me? Okay, if it does, then sure, why not? If it doesn't, then just cut it out and don't do it anymore for the rest of your life, whatever. And so I think what a lot of people need is just the clarity from thinking further selves
I think
instead of getting their thoughts from other people.
didn't mean to cut you off for a second, but I formulate our own opinion. What happens with a lot of people is they'll formulate their own opinion based on other people's anecdotes. Like they'll say, like an athlete, they'll see like, oh, LeBron James drinks wine. Why can't I? Like that must mean that can't be bad for you.
I mean, you have to also think about it like this. Like, he's at a point in his life where it's not really, like, his brain's not developing anymore, so
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt him as much. I mean, it still does hurt him because he's an athlete. And
It still does from a neurodegeneration, still not good for recovery. But rather than seeing that and making your decision based on that, still do some of your own research.
Mhm.
If you feel like the pros outweigh the cons, then that's fine. Keep doing that. But personally, for me, the cons far outweigh the pros. And based on what I've formulated with my own opinion, I don't think it should necessarily be a part of my life.
Mhm. Going back to that LeBron James example, what came to my mind was, so I think of things through the realm of business and whatever, because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And I looked at that from a perspective of kids our age, thinking that it's okay for them to drink because LeBron James drinks.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, he's already at the place that he wants to be in life. He's already successful. And what a lot of people do, not even with drinking, this is a total other like side tangent. But what a lot of people do is when they want to be successful, they look at the people that are already successful and do the exact same things that they do in that certain time. So like, for example, Jeff Bezos, he right now does like, he's really, really fucking successful. So a lot of people look at him and what he does now, and he does like cold plunges, saunas, whatever, blah, 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 red light therapy, XYZ, whatever. Does all of these things for his morning routine. And so that's what a lot of people try and emulate because they also want to be successful. But what you have to do is you have to step back and think like, oh shit, what was he actually doing when he was on the come up?
Yeah.
Instead of what is he doing now? Because what he was doing on the come up were the actual things that it took to be successful, not the things that he is doing now, because he's already successful. So if you want to be successful, look at the person that you want to be and emulate, instead of what they're doing now, emulate the path that they took to become successful instead of what they're doing now.
I really like that point you gave because Jeff Bezos, he has infinite time now.
Yeah.
He's fucking infinite money, pretty much. He does have infinite money, let's just say that.
Yeah. Relative to all everyone else.
His business it hasn't reached its peak, but let's say it's kind of peaking.
Yeah.
Like it's doing fucking fantastic. So he has so much time in his hands. And rather than putting so much work into making his business like minutely better, he's putting on his health and his wellness to make himself happy. But all that attention towards like red light therapy, cold plunges, he's probably meditating, just doing everything for his own like health, like physical wellness. All that attention and time will be taken away from actually growing your business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I really like your point of saying, look at a person like on their come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look what Jeff Bezos did every single day when he was building Amazon's garage.
Yeah,
How much time and attention he put towards there.
Instead of waking up and doing his red light therapy and his 5-hour routine throughout the day, why not just wake up and just immediately start working? Because that 5 hours, you could probably get a lot more done through that 5 hours.
And that point's just procrastination. I noticed this with me and you. We're always like, oh, like we need to do some work. Oh, we need to go to the gym before.
Yeah.
To be fucking honest, we don't need to go to the gym before.
Yeah.
That's just
I'll
us.
just go to the gym after.
That's just procrastinating and not wanting to do our fucking work, and we like going to the gym,
Mhm.
and it's good for us. So we're saying, oh, we go to the gym and we'll clear our fucking head. Yeah, I'll be able to put some weight so we get some clarity. And maybe that might be good to like a small percent,
But just starting now will
Yeah.
probably give you, and that, but also that when you're at the gym or whatever, that's still clogged in the back of your mind and taking attention away from what you're actually doing in the moment.
Yeah.
So then you're not in the moment.
Yeah.
And so instead of procrastinating, just do the work now and get that shit out of your head. Do the work. Well, I always got this from my mom. What my mom always said was do the work first and then play.
Yeah.
Do the shit that you know you need to get done first and then play. Because then, one, you'll have a lot less stress in your life because you will have done the work and done the shit. So a lot of people derive stress from, or stress actually derives from you not doing the things that you know you have control over, and i.e. procrastinating is the thing that derives that stress.
Mhm.
So just do the work first and then play.
Yeah.
And then also too, you won't have that on your attention anymore or on your mind, and won't take attention away from the thing that you're going to do next.
Yeah. Okay, so you might not even notice because it's going to be cut from the podcast, but we actually just had a bathroom break. But while that happened, I checked my Instagram for a second, and I found something that actually directly related to what we were talking about earlier, especially the thing with Jeff Bezos. It is a tweet from Alex Ramosi, or a thread, or something, that says, America was built on the backs of men who smoked cigarettes, drove without seatbelts, and had bacon for breakfast. If you miss your biohacking routine this morning, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, because we were just talking about that. So, what does this mean? Pretty much what it means is every single time you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I can't work until I get my 60 gram of protein meal in, I drink all my water, get all my electrolytes in, take a cold shower, meditate for 45 minutes, and go for a walk, lift weights, journal, all that shit. You don't need that to get your work done.
Yeah. All it takes to be successful is the shit that needs to get done to be successful. Like, you don't need to do any of that shit to be successful. All it is
Just monetarily.
doing the fucking work.
Unless
Oh yeah, monetarily speaking.
Unless your goal actually is to become the healthiest individual you can and optimize your brain to get shit done. But what are you optimizing for if you're not doing shit throughout the day?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So should we get to the next segment?
Yeah.
All right. So the next segment is the roles of relationships and productivity. So balancing relationships with personal growth. So me or you don't have a super big platform to really speak on this. We haven't had that many. Obviously, we have relationships with friends and stuff. So let's get a delve into relationships with friends.
Relationships with
with a significant.
others. I mean,
Well,
we both had relationships.
but it's not like we've had enough experience to really have a super big platform to speak on. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, I've noticed that when I am in a relationship or whatever, it does take a lot of attention away from whatever I'm trying to be successful at,
Mhm.
and in turn gives me less attention marbles. Like, if you think about it like a basket of marbles, and I spread myself so thin throughout whatever I'm putting my attention on, I need to collect those marbles so I can put as much attention on the thing that I'm trying to build, which is my business or being monetarily successful.
Mhm.
And so that's just the relationship aspect of the significant other can put a lot of marbles into that basket, and get derive attention away from whatever I'm trying to build.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, to have a balanced life or whatever, I mean, I guess it is a big part of life is to have find love in whatever. But for success, I think in the beginning is if you want to be successful, you have to put you have to gather all of those attention marbles and put it into the one basket that you're trying to build.
Yeah.
i.e. my business,
Mhm.
or whatever. And I think by having a significant other during that time could be a part of the downfall.
It's gonna be a detriment to your actual focus.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you'd be thought of like this. We're kind of relating it back to video games because we've been doing that a lot today. So you have your main goals, your main mission. After you completely max that out, get max level, then you prestige. You start back,
Mhm.
and after you prestige, meaning you've already kind of accomplished the bulk of what you need to for your business, for your wellness, etc. You could prestige and maybe grow your relationships,
Mhm.
because that's something that long term is definitely going to make you happy
And fulfilled.
and fulfilled.
Yeah.
Have a family, have kids, or just have a significant other that you love.
Yeah.
And you feel that love, you feel that warmth, feel that comfort, like within each other.
Yeah.
And this can kind of relate to something we've talked about with Patrick on this podcast, and actually in a book I'm reading, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Where is it? I have the
Or The 7 Habits of Highly Effective
I have
Teens.
this book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens by the same author.
You read that book at school. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So there will be.
I'm surprised the school system let us.
It was too much info. But so there you be independent, which for probably the growth. I was staying away from the mic, but you be independent, which pretty much for your own personal growth is probably the best. To be independent, kind of be on your own, be lonely. Not really a good word, kind of with negative connotation, but to be lonely in your journey. You can be dependent, meaning you rely on other people for this to happen. You're not very proactive. You think people are going to do shit for you, and you need kind of someone else in order for you to feel happy and fulfilled. And then there's interdependent, which is meaning you're a mix of being independent and having people. And that's kind of what we're getting at right now. In order to realize your potential, you need to first be independent and then kind of grow into the interdependent stage later on to where you're still independent, where you're able to kind of draw up those barriers to where, oh yeah, I need to work here, but you're still able to allocate time towards growing your relationships and growing your overall like mental wellness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not saying that. Going back to what I was saying, I'm not saying that it's bad to have a significant other at all. I'm just saying that my personal experience, I saw that it was taking a lot of my attention away from the thing that I was trying to build. And like, yeah, I was trying to build also the relationship, but um, obviously it didn't last, and that took away from whatever or what I was trying to build, which was myself too. Yeah.
I'm actually gonna kind of what you said, you calling back on it. I'm actually gonna disagree with you. I think that in certain stages of your life, having a significant other is gonna slow you down. That's why you see people. They'll
No, I do. No, yes, I do agree.
yeah, I know, and you're saying like it's like it's not bad, but to be honest, I think it is because, and I think I'm sure you kind of agree with me here, but whenever you see someone, this is what I'm bringing an anecdote, but still, whenever you see someone, they have they're in a relationship, or they were in a relationship, they were doing very well, they were very focused, they were in good shape, they're working a lot, and then they get into a relationship. All that time where they were spending on themselves is now shared with another individual. Their physique may recede in like how good it looks. They may not be working as much, making less money
because they get more comfortable.
Because they get more comfortable, and they're spending more time with this person, taking away from their own independent goals and independent things they were gaining.
And those building blocks to build that bridge.
And they get this, and then when they break up, they feel like shit because oh no, like I was super comfortable that like oh I'm gonna miss that so much. And then we're getting back to the stage of you saying they need a bullish reversal. And after they break up, they start working really hard again. Kind of like almost get revenge, but almost to outwork their self doubt that they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And that cycle of going like that won't really be super efficient to reaching where you want to be. Instead of just grinding, getting where you want to be, and then getting a relationship. Yeah. Which is probably more efficient, but both paths can work if you were able to set parameters early on. You're very emotionally mature. But I would say the easiest way is independence, then interdependence.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're kind of gearing toward the end, but here's our last segment. It's gonna be talking about the importance of independence, self-reliance, and kind of how you embrace solitude for you to fully reach your potential, for you to improve to your maximum degree. And the importance of independence. You being on your own, you being proactive with your own mental struggles, own business struggles, own fitness struggles, etc., and being able to make the necessary decisions on your own in order to grow those. And you have to be self-reliant.
Mm.
You can't be relying on other people to make this shit happen. The same shit, no one's gonna fucking save you. No one's gonna save you. No one's gonna save you. Because no one is gonna save you. The only thing you can do is be proactive, make the necessary changes, and after you make those necessary changes, you will most likely see a positive impact, and those positive impacts will compound, making you feel better, and you will end up keep being able to pursue this. But being independent, being alone, being in solitude. That's just gonna limit all the distractions from the outside so you can fully focus on yourself, focus on your goals, focus what needs to get done, so you don't have any of these exterior outside environment things fucking distracting you and ruining your output.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then also, like, being independent and not relying on anyone else to do the shit for you, you will build up those and that's what's necessary, especially in the beginning, for building that bridge to success, because you will need to build those tiny bricks of independent thinking, so that in the future you can independently think for yourself on the solutions that you need to solve. Because after that exponential growth, after you build that bridge, and once you start exponentiating, you're still going to be the guy at the top, and you need to make those independent big decisions. Because if you're the guy at the top, for example, Jeff Bezos, no one knows how to solve those problems that he's solving. The only person that knows how to actually solve those problems is Jeff Bezos, because he's the only person that has done that journey and has the experience of 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 or has all of those tiny different building blocks, and all of that knowledge that it has to offer.
Do you mean like fix the things as in like fix things like in the mental health and his development, or fix
No,
things
just no, within Amazon or anything
Yeah.
like that. You're the guy at the top, I'm saying, and no one's above him, and so, or no one's at where he is. So he can't rely on anyone else to help him think through something,
Yeah.
right? So he needs to have that independent thinking aspect, so that he can figure out those big problems.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna relate this is kind of like a more like more kind of like digestible. It's like the quarterback on the football field. They can't. No one's gonna be telling him where to throw the ball. He can't be dependent on someone making the decisions for him. So he needs to be independent in his thinking and be able to have his own self confidence, self reliance, to where he can rely on himself to make the right decision and have the independence to do so.
Yeah, and then you'll also have the confidence to be able to know that you're doing you know what the fuck you're doing,
Yeah.
and be able to push forward instead of being like having a building or a wall in front of you, and being not super confident in yourself, and then you won't push through that wall.
So something I think important in independence. I heard this today. I tweeted about this today, but I touched on it in a tweet. I was eavesdropping on a guy in the sauna today. He was a sports psychologist, and he was talking about a kid that was playing soccer. He was having some struggles on the field, and what happened is he missed a penalty kick, and he can't control the out. He can't control that he already missed the kick, and he's kind of getting down himself. So he went to the sideline, and the sports psychologist told him this: just take 5 more shots, and he ended up scoring a goal. Because the only thing you can't control is your input.
Mhm.
The output, that will just be a result of the input.
Mhm.
And being independent isn't worrying about the outcome. It's worrying about the income. Independence input. It's what you personally put in. It's what you personally do. So being independent is just not worrying about the outcome and just doing what you need to get done in order to get to what you desire, but not necessarily building for the outcome. It could be said with a bunch of things, like um, like making this podcast. If we just think, we want a million views on this next reel, and then we don't, and we get discouraged and we stop, we're not gonna go fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
We have to be independent to the circumstances that bestow us. We have to keep posting, post 3 reels a day, and just keep posting 3 reels a day.
So that we get better.
Yeah.
Because
And
that volume will help us get better.
And eventually, one of them will hit a million views.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say there's any drawbacks to when you're in solitude and fully working, or is there a? I'm thinking about like almost like Chris Willing or something. I've heard completely what he says, but I think you probably know what I'm talking about. What he says about like when you're. So when you first enter like this area of solitude and you need to cut off maybe some toxic people out of your life, you're going to be in that level to where you're kind of outworking them. They think you're better. They think like, oh no, you think you're better than us. We don't fucking like you. But they're not to that level. But you're not to that level of the next group to where you've already reached a level of success.
Where you can connect with them.
So you won't really be able to connect with anyone.
But so a lot of people get discouraged in that part, and that's why a lot of people don't become successful.
Yeah.
But everyone has to realize that every single person that has been successful has gone through that loneliness pattern in their life, of where they don't really want to hang out with their friends because they don't align with their values and future values.
Yeah.
But they're not good enough at what they're doing yet to be able to connect with the friends that they want to be friends with, because relationships are transactional, and the people that he wants to be friends with won't get a lot out of that transaction because he's like me. I'm using this as an example. I won't be able to give them as much value yet, and so that part in your life is very lonely. But you have to realize that that is a crucial part in the achievement of success. And I think that's that's a big place where a lot of people drop out is because they get so discouraged and so lonely,
Mm.
and feel like because of that they're doing something wrong, and then they go back to where they were and don't become successful. And that's why a very very minute amount of people are successful, because innately everyone wants to be successful, but only that very minute amount of people keep pushing past that loneliness loneliness part in their life.
I would say that's what I mean. You were lucky, like we can like have each other,
Yeah,
because like we're kind of on like a similar page on like what we want to do. We're kind of like at the same level of status and stuff to where we can connect on things and grow together. But we've also said this, like we've talked about as a part, it's like we sometimes find it difficult to connect with like other kids like our age because they're like so focused on other things and they have experiences that we cannot relate to at all.
like drinking, smoking weed,
Like you're drinking, smoking,
like stealing, or like running from the cops.
like past party or something. It's like, no, I wasn't fucking there. Like I can't input anything to this conversation. I'm not gonna butt in and like fucking be all
Fake.
be all fucking narcissistic and just talk because I want to talk. I'll let them connect and I'll just try to find someone else I can talk to.
Yeah. But eventually we'll be able to
Yeah.
be at a place in life where we can
Yeah. Once we can
transactions with the people that we want to be friends with.
Yeah. Because to be honest, no one really asks us like about like the shit we're doing on these parties and stuff.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna think of actually one instance recently. I'm not gonna touch on. I'll just tell you about that later.
Yeah.
But it was like it was it's actually very nice when someone like asks you, like someone like legitimately asks you like what stuff you're up to, like things you value and like what your goals are and stuff like that. Maybe I just like talking about that because that's human nature, but it's,
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
All right, y'all. Remember to subscribe to the new channel. This is the new channel. Free Road Routes.
Pure Roads.
Like the video.